discuss the next technique, find out demand of question, and according to demand of questions we try to select the correct option according to demand of question. So either this option is correct or this option is correct. You should logically connect these options with the demand of question, this option with the demand of question, this option with the demand of question. If you logically think that this is not correct demand of the question, this is not correct demand of question, this is not correct demand of question, and if you this is the correct demand of question, how you can identify the demand of question? Based on its keyword, based on its trap, and based on concept. So you should know these three things as we discussed earlier. So how these options can be connected with the demand of questions will be very important, and if you are not able to connect these options with the demand of questions, then you should also use the common sense. But common sense cannot be applied to each and every questions. There are certain questions out of 90 questions of bio, so you may apply this common sense in 2 to 3 questions also. Logical thinking can be applied each and every questions, each questions you can apply logical thinking. So how these are the difficult questions, how toppers get the out of out marks? Because they may apply the common sense, they apply logical thinking. Always logical thinking is required, or elimination technique, reverse thinking approach. So all these techniques can be applied on any questions. Any questions can be solved with the different techniques, and these different techniques, if you understood, if you practice it, if you acquire it, internalize it, and then you can use your knowledge. So use of knowledge. So knowledge can be used for solving of MCQs through these techniques and these strategies. So any questions can be solved with the different techniques, but we have compartmentalized these techniques just for the understanding purpose. So each and every questions can be solved with multiple strategies. So let's think about the logical thinking strategy and what is the common sense. So basic logic is required, and then common sense means think practically or scientifically where applicable. If you don't know the concept, still if you apply this concept practically, scientifically, and if you able to eliminate one or two options, then there would be a smart guesswork can be done, educated guesswork can be done. If you come at a 50-50 rule, then 50-50 rule can increase the probability. So this can increase the probability of correct answer will be increased. So that's why there is a need of all these techniques. Matching question, so correct answer you should find according to the options. So straight away we will go to the options. So concept behind this question you should know, otherwise if you don't know concept, then there would be difficulty in solving these questions. And if you want to understand these concepts, I will explain. So this question is on the ECG, so electrocardiogram. So electrocardiogram, this is the wave. So this is the P, Q, R, S, T. So as we know, P wave is the atrial systole. As we know, this complex P, Q, R, S complex is the ventricular systole, and this T wave is regarding the ventricular repolarization. Okay, let's P wave. So P wave A, according to option A, third. So P wave is regarding the atrial systole. So A second, depolarization of ventricle, which is wrong. So A second is wrong. So A first. So heart muscles are electrically silence. No, this is the wrong. A4, repolarization of ventricle. So repolarization of ventricle not represented by the P wave, that's why this is the wrong. A third. So a depolarization of atria. What do you mean by depolarization? At the conduction of action potential, after depolarization, it results into the contraction. So that's why atrial systole. Systole means contraction. So atria means atria, both atria, right and left atrial systole means contraction of atria and systole, which is represented by depolarization of atria. So A pole. So these questions can be solved based on only one statement can be used to solve this question. So that's why this is, so you should confirm these statements B, C, D also, but based on only one statement you have to come to close or demand of questions we have fulfilled. So that's why you can quickly only confirm B statement, C or D. So that's why you can save the time. So time, if you save the time 20-30 seconds in this question, it will be used for the other sections of NEET exam like chemistry, physics. So that's why only based on one statement you have come to the answer. So that's why let's confirm this question. B second, QRS complex, depolarization of ventricle, very good, correct. Then C fourth, so T wave, repolarization of ventricle, very good, ventricular repolarization, correct. And D first, what is the first? TP gap is the heart muscle where electrical silence, correct. So T and P, so T and P, so after T here would be P wave, and then again this is cycle. So that's why this is the T wave and this is the P wave, and this is the gap between them. And during this gap heart has a silent means there is a no electrical activity. That's why TP gap represents the electrical silence of heart muscles. After SA node creates the impulse here, then there will be atrial systole. This P wave will be generated after SA nodes excitability, but the gap between T and P has silence in current or action potential conduction on the heart muscle. This question is from endocrinology. You should know the basic concepts of the chemical coordination and integration chapter. First thing, this question can be solved on the multiple strategies, but we will discuss this question solving based on the logical thinking as well as common sense. So what is meant by common sense? Common sense means practicality. So certain words in biology can be helpful for solving these questions. The first one is the exothalamic goiter. Exo means outside. Ophthalmology means study of eyes. Ophthalmology, you know about these words. Ophthalmology. So it is regarding the eye, and exo means outside. Exothalamic goiter options can be matched in these four options. So first one is the excess secretion of cortisol and moon phase of moon phase is not related to the eye. Hyposecretion of thyroid hormone and stunted growth, there is no such reference. Then hypersecretion of thyroid hormone and protrusion of eyeball, so eyeballs are related to the ophthalmology, and protrusion means outside. That's why, so logically if you know the words meaning, then based on the common sense, based on the terminology, based on the meaning of the word, you can come to the conclusion that definitely there would be any. Fourth option is the excessive secretion of growth hormone. So exothalamic goiter, more probability would be the correct matching would be third option. That's why A third. So here these options are given in these questions. A third here, A third here, A first, A fourth. So logically 3 and 4 options are incorrect. One is the B4. So B4 definitely there would be a same options, so there is no confusion regarding the B4. So B is always matched with the 4. So acromegaly means excessive secretion of growth hormone result in the abnormal growth of the body parts in adult. So acromegaly is regarding the excessive secretion of growth hormone in adults. So this one is the correct option. Then C second and C first. First, excessive secretion of cortisol. As we know, this is the disorder of adrenal gland. You should know. So adrenal gland disorders. So concept is very important. So Cushing syndrome is the first, you should know. This is the disorder of adrenal gland, and in adrenal gland, so adrenal cortex hormones creates this Cushing syndrome, and in adrenal cortex, cortisol, which is released by zona fasciculata cells, released is the cortisol. Cortisol is the glucocorticoid. Excessive secretion of cortisol results in the moon phase and hyperglycemia, which is the correct option. C first. So C first is the here. C first is here. So that's why this option is wrong. So correct option is second. So and D second always it would be correct. Just confirm. Cretinism result into the hyposecretion, thyroid hormone and stunted growth. So hyposecretion, so hypothyroidism results into the cretinism, and it results into stunted growth in a newborn baby. That's why correct option is the second option. In this question we can apply multiple strategies, but I have explained this question based on the common sense as well as certain knowledge based thinking. So strategy is helpful for solving question quickly. That's why we can save time as well as increase accuracy. Accuracy means we can increase the chances of correct option selection. There is a requirement of strategy to save time as well as to improve the accuracy, to decrease confusion. So all this requires the certain systematic approach, and here I will explain each and every questions. What is the approach to solve the questions, how to decode the MCQs. Then next strategy regarding the MCQ solving technique is the reverse thinking approach. Reverse thinking, simple strategy, which means that the whenever there is a question and there is the statements A, B, C and D, so you should first connect the options with questions. That's why generally students will try to link the questions demand with answers, with options, but there is also a technique in certain questions. It may not be applied in all questions, but there would be a 10 to 15 questions which can be solved by the reverse thinking approach. So reverse thinking means simply you can connect your statements of options with questions demand. Either you connect demand of questions with the options, or options can be connected with the demand. So in both way you can solve the question. So the next strategy is the reverse thinking strategy. Previous strategy we have called it as a logical thinking. So logical thinking involves demand of questions can be connected with the given various options, but various options can be connected with the demand of questions in a reverse thinking approach, and in this way we can get the answer. So in this strategy you should consider given options first. So first you should consider options, and then these options should be fitted with the questions demand. Then cross check whether this statement is correct or wrong. This statement is correct or wrong, correct or wrong, correct or wrong. This is the simple strategy. Let's practice this strategy with one example. This is the demand of question. Diuresis is prevented by. So key concept is diuresis. Trap is prevented. Prevented means how you can stop diuresis. So what is meant by diuresis? First you should know diuresis means formation of excessive urine. So that's why it is called as dye. Dye means dilute. Dye means dilute. So breakdown of word. So dye means dilute, and urasis means formation of urine, but formation of urine is dilute. If dilute urine is formed, then it will be excessive, always excessive. So this is the concept. So, and it can be prevented. So how you can prevent the formation of excessive urine, dilute urine? This is the demand of question. So we have identified demand of question. If you able to identify demand of question, and then you can connect these options with your demand of question. Let's connect. So first one is the renin from JG cells via switching off the osmoreceptor. So what is the major function of renin? Renin is involved in RAS system, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. I will explain in next sessions. Here, because of the time limit, I will not explain in detail what is meant by RAS system, but RAS system is used to increase blood pressure. When there is a low BP, then kidney secretes the renin. That's why it results into activation of RAS system, and RAS system results into the increase in BP. Why renin is secreted by JG cells of kidney? Because kidney's function is depend on pressure, because its glomerular filtration rate depends on blood pressure. That's why kidney try to regulate the blood pressure. So if renin is released into the blood, then there is a increase in blood pressure. That's why there is no direct relation with the increase in urine. Excessive urine formation or dilute urine formation is not directly related to the renin. That's why this option is wrong. Then second option. So you should understand how I am connecting these options with demand of questions, how I use reverse thinking approach to solve the question. So if you not able to apply this reverse thinking approach, then you are not able to solve this question. Let's think reversely. Then second statement, that is ANF. So ANF means atrial natriuretic factor. So according to the nomenclature, decipher or decode, what is mean by ANF? ANF means atrial. Atrial means it is released by the atria present in the heart. That's why heart muscles can be secrete this hormone. So ANF is secreted by heart. Which part of heart? Atria. And which atria? Right atria. So that's why this name is given. What is the function? According to function, it is do the natriuresis. Natri means Latin word of sodium. Sodium is called as natrium. In Latin word. So that's why we use the symbol of sodium as Na. So this Na symbol comes from the natrium. So here natrium and natriuretic. Uretic means urasis. So urasis means formation of urine. So that's why if sodium is present in urine, then there would be formation of dilute urine. If sodium loss takes place through the urine, peptide hormone, so atrial natriuretic factor results into the dilute urine, means diuresis. NF is responsible for diuresis. So here diuresis can be done by the NF. But what is the demand of question? Diuresis is prevented by, trap is here. So prevented by, but it is done by the NF. So that's why it is not correct. We want to choose the answer which prevents the diuresis. So that's why this option is wrong. Then aldosterone from adrenal medulla. Aldosterone. So aldosterone is secreted by adrenal gland. Correct. In adrenal gland, it's secreted by adrenal cortex, and if it comes into the blood, then it goes to the kidney. So aldosterone is released by the RAS system. Renin, angiotensin. Here aldosterone system. Aldosterone do the reabsorption of sodium. So reabsorption of sodium from DCT. If sodium is reabsorbed, then there is a concentration of urine. So then it results into the concentration of urine. Concentration of urine means there is a less amount of urine, and if there is a less amount of urine, then it can prevent the diuresis. So that it can prevent the diuresis. That's why this option is correct. So aldosterone can prevent the diuresis, but here is the catch. So aldosterone from adrenal medulla. They say the source of aldosterone hormone. They mention adrenal medulla, but as we have no aldosterone is released by adrenal gland, and adrenal gland, which part of adrenal gland? Adrenal cortex. So it is, they use medulla. So that's why this word is wrong. That's why this whole option is wrong. Then next one is so as we have connected by reverse thinking approach these three statements with the demand of questions. So three statements are wrong. Then obviously last option is correct option. So that's why there is no need of the much more knowledge about this option, because already we have eliminated three options. So definitely fourth will be answer of this question, but still we confirm it very quickly. Don't spend much more time on this confirmation. So vasopressin from neurohypophysis, correct. So vasopressin, what is the another name of vasopressin? ADH. ADH means antidiuretic hormone. Anti means against, diuresis means dilute urine formation hormone, means it can prevent diuresis. Anti-diuresis means diuresis can be prevented, and it is released from neurohypophysis, correct. Neurohypophysis consists of two parts. One is the infundibulum, next one is the posterior pituitary gland, and posterior pituitary gland can secrete vasopressin. It is synthesized in hypothalamus but stored and released by posterior pituitary gland. That's why this option is the correct option. How I can deducted this question's logic, how I can connect the options with the demand of questions by using reverse thinking approach. You should understand this approach. If you understand this approach, then there will be definitely you will be get edge over the other students. So then next, last two patterns of the questions are there. There are certain questions are based on the statements, and these statements based questions. So that's why I will call it as SBQs. SBQs means statement based question. So as you know, first statement, there is a first statement, then there is the second statement, and there are certain options which says that the first is correct, second is incorrect, both incorrect, or multiple combinations would be there. Before moving further, I want to explain what is the purpose of MCQs. What is the purpose of MCQs? So MCQs exams are not for qualification, not meant for qualification of student. So qualification means the descriptive patterns are there. So descriptive pattern exams are there to qualify your board exams, but purpose of MCQs exam is to eliminate student from competition. So that's why these exams are made. They want to minimize the competition, they want to remove you, they want to make it difficult to common students, and common student cannot able to solve the questions. Then they definitely certain student can move further and achieve the good rank in NEET exam. That's why, so purpose of exam is the elimination of student. And if they want to eliminate, so statement based questions are simple pattern of the question. If they want to make this more difficult, then there would be these statement based questions can be converted into assertion-reason questions. So that's why these are the two patterns, SBQs and ARQs. So first we will see. So ARQs also gets the true statement. So they call first statement as a assertion, and they call second statement as a reason, and they want to make it difficult. That's why they want to test whether this reason is the correct explanation of A. They want to test the relation, then it becomes assertion reason question, and if they don't want to know the relation between this statement, then it become statement based questions. So that's why assertion reason questions are more difficult as compared to statement based questions. So if these are the more difficult, then you should get smart technique, you get expertise over the solving of these ARQs, assertion reason based questions. So let's start to how to decode these two types of the patterns of the questions, and this pattern of questions are framed by the examiner to eliminate student. And if you want to select, if you want to do not eliminate from this competition, then you must get mastery over this pattern. So mastery, and this mastery will be done by me. So let's explain these techniques with help of the examples. So first examples, so given below are the two statements, correct? So statement first, statement second, and they are in the light of the above statement, choose the most appropriate answer from the options given. There are 4 options here, and there are multiple combinations here, you should know. So that's why, so these statements are the these questions are the simple questions. You must know whether the first statement is the correct statement or wrong statement. You must know the second statement is the correct statement or wrong statement. There is no requirement of connecting this second statement with the first statement. If there is a connection, then it becomes the ARQ question, assertion reason based questions. Probability of correct answer would be a 25%. Out of 4 options, you should, if choose one, then there is a probability is 25% in ARQs, and out of 6 you should choose the one. That's why it becomes the probability of say around 70%. So that's why ARQs are the most difficult pattern. Most students fear about this pattern, but I will explain in a lucid manner, very simple manner. That's why you can understood of this pattern. So let's discuss the statements. So first statement is the bone marrow is the main lymphoid organ where all blood cells including lymphocytes were produced, correct? So you should know the concept behind the lymphoid organ. So lymphoid organs are responsible for production, maturation and differentiation of blood cells. Bone marrow is the site of production of all blood cells including lymphocytes, as we know. That's why first statement is the correct statement. So first statement is the correct statement. Second, both bone marrow and thymus provide micro environment for development and maturation of T lymphocyte. So as we know, primary lymphoid organs are two, bone marrow and another is the thymus gland, and bone marrow and thymus gland mainly involved in the production, maturation, differentiation of lymphocytes. So T lymphocytes can be matured in the thymus gland, so that's why bone marrow and thymus glands are involved. So that's why second statement is also correct. So both bone marrow and thymus provides micro environment for development and maturation of T lymphocytes. So that's why correct option is the both statements are correct. Statement 1 is correct, second is incorrect. That's why this option is not answer. Statement first is correct, statement second is incorrect. No, both statement first and second are correct. So that's why third option is the correct option. So let's see another example of statement based question. First one is the cerebral hemisphere are connected by nerve tract known as corpus callosum. So cerebral hemisphere, so here is present cerebral concept behind this statement. You should know the concept. If you don't know, then open the NCERT, revise the concept and then discuss these statements. So concept clarity is the basic foundation of solving the question, and this concept clarity can be achieved by decoding of NCERT. So I will decode the whole NCERT through PYQs as well as quick revision series I will launch on this channel, so you can get a trusted and premium quality content on this channel. So I will always glad to help you. Let's see whether this statement is correct or wrong. So first, cerebral hemispheres. There are two hemispheres, right hemisphere and left hemisphere, correct? And these are the parts of the cerebrum, our brain's part. So, and cerebrum, right and left side, and these cerebral hemispheres are connected by nerve tract known as corpus callosum. That's why this statement is the correct statement. And corpus callosum is a mammalian character, means present only in mammals. Then second statement, the brain stem consists of medulla oblongata, then pons and cerebrum. So you should know the concept behind the what is mean by brainstem. So brainstem consists of three organs. Medulla oblongata, correct. So medulla oblongata present. So pons also present, but cerebrum is not a part of brainstem. So it is a midbrain. Either here is the midbrain. So these three parts, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata forms the brainstem, but they have given cerebrum. Cerebrum is the part of hindbrain, so it does not involve in the formation of brainstem. That's why second statement is wrong. So that's why correct answer is statement first is correct, but statement second is incorrect. So first option is the correct option. So in this way you should solve it. Try to analyze each and every statement, try to understand it, try to connect the NCERT, try to identify the traps involved in the statements, try to understand the distractors. So distractors means wrong statement. So cerebrum is the distractor. If we add midbrain here, then this statement is correct statement, but they wants to test your concept. So concept understanding is very important. Then next one is the most important pattern of the MCQs is assertion reason questions, and if you get the mastery over this assertion and reason question, then definitely you will get the out of out marks in the biology, but it requires certain techniques. So I will explain simple technique. As we have discussed, there are two statements, so as SBQs. So this statement either correct or this statement either correct or wrong, So same assertion reason question, this statement first is called as assertion and second statement is called as reason. So same technique. So you should first know whether these both statements are correct or wrong, and then you should relate this reason with assertion, and there is a probability of relation that this relation would be correct relation or this relation would be wrong relation. So that's why, so these three steps are required to solve this question, and there are certain options. So there are multiple combinations. Let's practice with certain questions. First, these are the first statement, so you can save the time by direct reading of the assertion and reason and try to connect it. There is a technique. If assertion and reason, if any statement is wrong, then there is a both statement is wrong, there is no relation. If assertion is correct, any reason is wrong, or if reason is wrong or assertion is correct, then also there is a no relation. So that's why you should know when you should, in only one case, if assertion is correct, reason is correct, then you should find out the relation. So this is the most important insight in the solving of the question. When you try to relate the two statement, only when assertion is also correct, reason is also correct. So that's why all these probabilities, there would be no relations between the assertion and reason. So let's see with example. So first statement, FSH acts upon ovarian follicle. First part of the statement, correct. FSH acts on ovarian follicle in females, correct. FSH acts in ovarian follicles in female. Very good. So that's why we have given the name follicle stimulating hormone. And and Leydig cell in male. Whether FSH acts on the Leydig cells? No, FSH acts on in male FSH acts on Sertoli cells of testes. So here it acts Sertoli cells, here given the Leydig cells. That's why this is the wrong. Half of the assertion is correct, half of assertion is wrong, because FSH acts on follicle stimulating hormone is correct, but Leydig cell is not correct. So Leydig cell, which hormone acts on Leydig cells? So we know Leydig cells can be affected by luteinizing hormone, LH hormone. So L Leydig cell and LH. So you can connect the LL. That's why Leydig cell is stimulated by luteinizing hormone. That's why this statement is wrong. Then second, growing ovarian follicles secretes estrogen. Correct. Estrogen can be secreted by the growing ovarian follicles. So source of estrogen is ovarian follicles. Correct. In female. Very good. While interstitial cell secretes androgen in male human being. Interstitial cell. So another name of interstitial cell is Leydig cell. So another name of interstitial cell is Leydig cell. So Leydig cell secretes androgen. Very good. It is also correct. Androgen, main androgen, testosterone. Testosterone is the main androgen secreted by, it is a male sexual hormone secreted by Leydig cells, as well as it is also called as interstitial cell. So that's why both part. So both part is correct of the reason. So that's why reason is correct, but assertion is wrong. That's why there is no relation. So statement direct, you can find out the answer. So A is false, but R is true. So that's why second statement is the correct statement. You understood the how to handle the assertion reason questions, but if both statements are correct, then how to relate this question is the most difficult part of this technique. So we will learn this technique here. Right now I will give a premium quality technique or premium strategy to know how to relate the both if the both statements are correct. So first, so given below are two statements. This is the re-exam of 2024 questions. First statement is, during the transportation of gases, about 20 to 25% of CO2 is carried by hemoglobin as a carbaminohemoglobin. So very good. When there is a production of CO2 by the cells, and this CO2 comes into the blood, and this blood here is the hemoglobin RBCs, and it combines with the carbon dioxide and forms the carbaminohemoglobin, and these carbaminohemoglobin form CO2 is carried, about 20 to 25% of CO2 is transported by the hemoglobin of RBCs, which is the correct statement. So this statement is correct. Why? Because 20 to 25% carbon dioxide is carried by hemoglobin, then 70% carbon dioxide is carried in the form of bicarbonate ions in plasma, and 7% carbon dioxide is carried in dissolved form in plasma. So dissolved in plasma. So that's why, so exactly this range is given 20 to 25%, but exact figure is 23%. So 23% is carried by hemoglobin. So that's why first statement is correct. So in this way you should decode the statement. So how I am decoding it? Because I am able to decode this statement in a very good manner, because I know the concept behind this question. So then next reason, this binding is related to high partial pressure of CO2 and low PO2 in tissue. Correct. At a tissue level factor, we know in a previous session I have discussed the tissue level factors and lungs level factors. This is so carbaminohemoglobin finds at the tissue level. So tissue level carbon dioxide production is there, that's why PCO2 is high, and oxygen is consumption by the cells, that's why partial pressure of oxygen is less. Whether this binding is related to high partial pressure of CO2, correct. Then low partial pressure of O2 in tissue, correct. These statements are correct statements, so this also correct. Then we should relate it whether this statement is correct explanation of A. So whenever any assertion you want to relate with a reason, then use the word due to or because between two statements. And if you logically think that these statements are correct explanation, if you feel this statement is both statement are relating with each other, then this would be the correct explanation, or if not logically connect, then not correct explanation. So let's try it. During transportation of gases, about 20 to 25% CO2 is carried by the hemoglobin as a carbaminoglobulin, because here I am introducing new word, because this binding is related to partial pressure, high PCO2 and low PO2, correct. So it becomes logically connecting. If you don't able to connect, then use different word due to. So due to this binding is related to high PO2 and low O2 in the tissue, so that's why this seems like a correct reason of assertion. So that's why both statement A and R are correct, and these statements are correct explanation. So that's why C is the correct answer. So in this way you should decode the concepts